What is the best day and time to conduct surveillance? When it comes to determining whether to start surveillance on a weekday or weekend and what time to set up, there are several factors that play in making this decision. Hi, I'm Tim Santoni. I've been a private investigator for over 20 years. I have worked and supervised thousands of cases involving insurance claims and fraud. My experience working with top insurance carriers, TPAs, and defense counsel have allowed me to gather a ton of data points that we use to optimize success in surveillance cases. I believe that details matter when it comes to executing a successful surveillance investigation. This means that an in-depth review of the claim should be conducted as soon as the new surveillance investigation is received. This should include getting details around the nature of the injury, the date of injury, the body parts impacted by the injury, prior investigation work, which can often include an AOE/COE investigation report and a prior surveillance report. The goal is to learn everything that you can about the claim and the subject. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video. I will share the time of day where we have found the most activity by subjects over the years. Okay, moving on. Once you have a clear understanding of the claim history and the subject, you should conduct your own pre-surveillance investigation. The pre-surveillance investigation can include many of the following elements. Verification of the residential address of the subject. This is crucial as you want to spend the surveillance resources watching the house where the subject lives, not the address he or she provided to the employer 10 years ago that he or she may no longer live at. Then, you want to run a driving record, develop a description, as well as any potential non-industrial accidents. You also want to develop vehicle history. You also want to develop all vehicles the subject could drive or own, so that you can be on alert for those vehicles when you begin surveillance. A quick search of social media is also a great way to develop a current photo of the subject, along with potential habits and behaviors. Once you conduct this research and you have a solid profile of the subject, you're on your way to optimizing the outcomes of the surveillance investigation. When it comes to scheduling surveillance, in my experience, it's always best to start on a weekday. If your subject is a male, then the statistics suggest that a 6 a.m. start time is best. If your subject is a female, then a 7 a.m. start time is best. You might be saying, why start so early? Well, first off, you don't want to miss them leaving for work. Also, it's never good when you are sitting on an empty house. This is often determined when the subject returns home while you're on site. Also, you can insert your surveillance operative more discreetly earlier in the morning. This helps with nosy neighbors who might report you or approach and kill a whole day of surveillance. Keep in mind that if the client says the subject is believed to be working construction, you should start surveillance at approximately 4:30 or 5 in the morning because construction workers are often on site by 7 a.m. at the latest, and you don't want to miss them leaving. On the first weekday of surveillance, your goal is to get a sense of the setup, identify vehicles in and around the residence to develop possible activity patterns of the subject, which will allow you to adjust your setup time on future surveillance. As an example, if the subject emerges and departs at 11 a.m. on the first day of coverage, then maybe you move to a later setup time on the next day of surveillance. If the subject is inactive on the first weekday of surveillance but is confirmed home, then it would make sense to move to an afternoon setup or maybe switch to a weekend day for days 2 and 3. When you get the subject active on day 1 and you're getting good video of the subject's activities, it's always a good idea to conduct surveillance the following day. This is important because if you get the subject active on back-to-back days, this eliminates the subject's attorney from making the argument that the subject was sore and tired and was forced to rest after the activities documented on the first day. Also, in our experience, people are creatures of habit, so if you get them active at 12:30 p.m. one day, there's a good chance they will be active at 12:30 p.m. on a subsequent day of surveillance coverage. So, to answer the initial question that I posed, what days and times are best to optimize your surveillance investigations is a tough one. The real answer is, it depends. If you follow the formula that I have provided above, you will optimize your chance of getting your subject active and getting good video of their activities and physical condition. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Now, I will share the statistics you've all been waiting for. Our research shows that the most documented activity by a subject occurs between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, as well as 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the evening. Industry statistics show that when surveillance day, you increase your chances of getting video by upwards of 300%. Thanks so much for watching, and please share this with someone in your network. Talk soon.